Hey guys, it's Jessica Stone at Stansberry Research, and I'm here with Health and Wealth Bulletins, Amanda Cuocci. And Amanda, I feel like, well, first of all, this is what we're going to talk about, coffee. Um,
I've got mine
Here's
too.
yours, chin chin. I feel like we're getting different advice every other day, every other month about whether coffee's good for us, whether coffee's bad for us. Why do we get so many different opinions on that?
Well, I think a big part of it is that, coffee has a lot of different compounds in it that are healthy for us. And a lot of them are still being studied as to figure out like what they actually do in our bodies. But coffee, as you're enjoying it, coffee is actually really good for you. And this is something that, Doc Eifrig has said for years and years and years, and we've never wavered from that. In fact, a lot of the studies that have come out saying coffee's bad for you have since been, I don't want to say disproven, but we've dug into them and said, oh, actually, it's something else. For instance, the World Health Organization said that coffee causes cancer, and it comes to find out it's not actually coffee. It's the hotness, the temperature. Yeah, as you finish off your cup, that is the problem, and that's because when you drink something at too high of a temperature, that can cause burning in the back of your throat, so that can lead to esophageal cancer. Anytime you have any kind of burn, you're basically, damaging those cells. You're damaging the DNA. When they grow back, of course, there's a potential for mutations, things like that. So, I'm not going to get too in depth there, but that's one of the things that we've seen reverse. So now, hot beverages, including anything like soups and teas, as well as coffee, is considered a cancer-causing agent, but coffee itself is not.
All right, we're good there. So we're all, facing this pandemic, and we're tired, and we're worn down, and we're overparenting, and we're overworking just to keep up. And so we're probably drinking a lot more coffee. I know we are in my family. Is there any connection, or can you give us any reason to drink more coffee and justify our more drinking of coffee during the pandemic? Are we going to make ourselves more immune in any way?
I'm not sure about immunity, but we do know that coffee has a lot of great benefits. One of which is that it's the number one way that Americans actually get antioxidants in their diet. Antioxidants are compounds that help fight inflammation in our bodies, and inflammation causes all kinds of problems like, chronic inflammation can cause diabetes and heart disease and all kinds of other problems. So if you
It makes it harder to fight anything, right?
Exactly, so it's a bit of a complex system, but
We're
coffee.
helping ourselves by drinking coffee.
Absolutely. And coffee does help protect our DNA. It has some compounds in it that's actually a protective effect. So that can help with things like cancer as well.
All right, but no connection to the ACE2 receptors that COVID attaches to, right? We can't beef those up or make them less Velcro.
Nothing that I've seen, unfortunately.
All right. What else are we doing for ourselves when we drink coffee? And does it matter? You talked about the temperature. Um, Obviously, coffee is a vehicle for a lot of sweet stuff and milk and all kinds of different things. Does it matter whether we drink it with those things or without those things? Some people really like a latte or a double shot. Is espresso better than a latte, for example?
So not particularly. It's really the sugars and all the added stuff like that that's dangerous for you, because even though the coffee with the antioxidants can help with the inflammation, adding in all those sugars and other syrups and all that kind of stuff triggers inflammation. So it's really, you're kind of canceling out the benefit there. Milk is still really good in coffee. In fact, it's one of the ways that we recommend lowering the temperature so that it's safe to drink. If you add even just, I think it's 2 teaspoons of milk to hot coffee, it'll help with the temperature, and then it's safe to drink for your throat.
And there's a little bit of sweetness in milk, so you do wind up sweetening it as well. Lastly, you have had these, you kind of have had a conversation about heat, and there have been different trends about trying to cancel salt and sugar, and California and New York are often in the middle of all of that. Is there any war on coffee now that we need to be aware of and take a stand against?
Oh, I feel like there's always a war on coffee somewhere. Um,
I will fight that battle with you, Amanda, shoulder to shoulder. I need
Shoulder
it.
to shoulder. Let's keep drinking our coffee. No, I don't think there's anything out there right now. I know there have been a few studies recently about energy drinks and the dangers of them, and a lot of the news media kind of blew that up to be caffeine's the culprit, coffee's terrible, stop drinking, blah, 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 blah. But it turns out it's not the caffeine that's the problem. It's the other added ingredients like the taurine and everything else that you get in like Monster energy drinks. So you're not going to get that in your coffee. You don't have to worry about it. It is important to know that sometimes, depending on how you react to coffee, it can trigger things like anxiety and stuff like that if you have too much. So really just knowing your own reaction to
Doesn't
coffee.
these days, actually. So that is something to be, but moderation, and also making sure that you don't load it up with other things sounds like the way to approach it.
That's exactly the key that we always say at Retirement Millionaire is moderation is key, and just make sure that you're not putting in too much sugar and syrups and all that delicious stuff. Even, I was going to say it's pumpkin spice season, but try to hold off on that if you can.
Thank you so much. Amanda Cuocci there with the Health and Wealth Bulletin. And if you hover on your screen right now, you can be connected to all of her wonderful writing as well as her colleagues. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Thanks for watching. That's all for now.